Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 250,000 subscribers. So help me to get there by hitting subscribe, because now is not the time to unsubscribe. It's the time to subscribe and share with the friends, because knowledge is power. And I want to talk to you for a second about this major backlash that we're seeing right now with Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, right from Morning Joe on MSNBC. And they're getting this backlash because they went to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. And I want to show you the original clip that aired yesterday. But before I do that, I want to show you this clip from this morning where they discuss the backlash that they have been getting. Play the clip.
And I will say also, I just want to say thank you, first of all, so kind last night, but also thank you. Willie, yesterday I saw for the first time what a massive disconnect there was between social media and the real world, because we were flooded with phone calls from people all day, literally around the world. Very positive, very supportive, going, I understand what you do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But once in a while, I would get a text or a call from someone and go, oh man, I hope you're doing okay. And I call him back and I go, well, Eddie Glaude was one of them. I go, Eddie, are you on Twitter? And he goes, I am. I go, okay, well, I'm not. So we've had a good day. Mika just had a wonderful event, and it's fantastic. We're going to do all of us are going to do the best we can do, and we're all working towards a better America.
Take it day by day.
Day by day. And again, you can predict the future by shaping the future.
Yeah. So there's so much to discuss here. But before I actually go into it, I want to show you a clip from yesterday where they explained that they just want to restart their communication with Trump. And I have a lot of experience with the two of them and Trump, so just stick around for my reaction after this one. Play the clip.
And even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's a great question to ask. Here's the thing. You're entitled to, during the campaign, you're entitled to be aggressive. You're entitled to turn around and express your opinions as to which candidate you think is better suited in order to lead us into the future. And clearly, Joe and Mika, myself included, by the way, believe that Kamala Harris was the better and the stronger candidate based upon views that we have. Well, guess what? It didn't go that way. Our candidate lost. And so for them not to want to restart communication, to stay on an enemies list, to worry about whether or not they're going to be able to have Trump ever come on their show as the president, yeah, they're worried about their pocketbook. So they restarted communications. Now, the two of them used to spend an enormous amount of time at Mar-a-Lago. That's actually where their relationship had started. And that's where they used to go on weekends to get away from the prying eyes of media themselves. And so Donald felt very betrayed by Joe and by Mika, by the attacks, but they were going off of their policy and their principles. Well, again, come January 20th, doesn't make a difference what you think, what I think, what Joe and Mika thinks. January 20th, the man is walking into the Oval Office after being inaugurated as 47th president of the United States. So who wouldn't want to restart communication? Now, I got to tell you something. I'm not so sure that Trump sees it the same way they did. They're trying to make it seem like it's all kumbaya. That's not so easy with Trump. It's going to take more than one 30, 45-minute meeting between the two, regardless of their relationship in the past. All right, that I can tell you from personal experience. It doesn't really work that way. But I do also want to show you something, because this is what Nikki Haley had to say about it. And this is what she said. Let's be clear. Joe and Mika didn't suddenly see the light. They saw their ratings. They realized they needed Trump for their survival. All right, interesting. That's exactly what I just said before. They absolutely do. This is about their pocketbook as much as it is about acknowledging the fact that the man won the election, whether you like him or not, whether you agree with him or not. The only thing that we can hope is that people like Joe and Mika, or myself included, because we have a great audience here, that we're not going OAN, Newsmax, Fox News. No. If he does something which is fundamentally opposite to what I believe, for example, I don't know, let's say the mass deportation bill and they start separating children, you're going to hear from me on that. That's not good. However, if things that turn out to be good, well, I'm more than happy to report that as well to you. You see, this station, like all stations, should not be about pro or con of an individual. Again, he's the president of the United States. Depending upon what policies and what he does will determine how we respond to it. And I hope that Joe and Mika do the same thing instead of ass kissing, because again, I assure you, Trump is not seeing that meeting the same way that they are. Now, I want to show you a clip comparing what Joe Scarborough had said earlier this fall on his show about Trump to what he said yesterday after speaking with President-elect Trump. Play the clip.
The point applies even if this is not Germany 1933. The point applies if this is something not as savage as Germany 1933, but simply an autocrat who decides to be a dictator on day one, who decides to arrest all those who he doesn't like, to take news networks off the TV, as he said he would do if they're not supportive of him, who's talked about assassinating generals that aren't sufficiently loyal to him, has complained to his chief of staff that his generals should be more like Hitler's generals. Of course, Hitler's generals tried to kill Adolf Hitler, but Donald Trump didn't know history, so he didn't know that. Whose own lawyer said in court he could use SEAL Team 6 to assassinate political rivals. And if he were president of the United States, he could not be arrested.
Yeah. So look, now I want to show you the clip of Joe talking about Trump threatening to take news networks off the air and other things. All right, play that clip.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
Yeah. Somewhat different than, of course, what I had showed you earlier about what he's saying today. Again, I want to be very clear about something. It's one thing during a campaign, right? The rhetoric goes up. But once the election is over, that's supposed to subside. Because no matter whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's going to be a good president or not, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because on January 20th of 2025, the man will have his hand on the Bible and he will be inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States. And so as Americans, it is essential that we support our president. That doesn't mean a carte blanche where you just say, oh yeah, mass deportation, don't even deport him. How about you shoot him and throw him in a fucking ditch? No, that's not okay. And nobody should be saying that that's okay. Not Joe, not Mika, not me, nobody. But you know what? You do still have to respect the president of the United States because he is the leader of our country. Again, whether you like him or not. Now, I want to also show you a clip of Sunny Hostin from The View giving her take on how mainstream media should approach the upcoming Trump presidency. Play that clip.
Look, the bottom line is that America needs a free press that is willing to speak truth to power right now, more than ever. And I think that we have to be very clear-eyed when we think about the president-elect and cover the president-elect. And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news. He is the guy who ushered in alternative facts. He is the guy who attacked 3 black female journalists. He's the guy that revoked Jim Acosta's press credentials for asking him a question. And so I think that this president-elect, I hate to say it, would like nothing more than to have only Fox News cover him, would like nothing more than a state-sponsored media. And I don't think he can be trusted in the way that other presidents can be trusted. This is an aberration.
Yeah. Let me give you the reality. And while you may agree with Sonny's comments, again, irrelevant. Because whether you think that he's going to only do it on Fox News, certainly Joe and Mika want to make sure that they get their fair share of President Trump time, right? Because it's good for ratings, it's good for their pocket. Let me be very clear. It doesn't make a difference. Again, if he does it on Fox News, they'll just take clips and have to give them credit that it was off of Fox News. You follow? It doesn't really matter what Sonny says or what anybody says, whether or not he attacked 3 black journalists or he attacked 5 white journalists, whether or not he pulled Jim Acosta's press credentials or Brian Karem's press credentials. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because again, on January 20th, the plurality of Americans voted for him. Plain and simple. All right? There's so many people right now that are saying, I can't believe I did. I can't believe I did. Well, you know what you did? And you have Donald Trump guaranteed for 4 years. Plain and simple. So just get used to it. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.